All right, welcome to the masterclass. I want you to forget everything you think you know about a simple shield. Today, we are not just talking about blocking attacks, we're talking about deconstructing them. We're going to forge a whole new kind of warrior, one whose defense is a fortress built not from steel, but from body, mind, and spirit, all working in perfect harmony. This is the path to absolute defense.
So, here's our roadmap for today. We'll kick things off by completely shattering the myth of the impenetrable shield. Then we'll build our foundation by mastering speed and space. From there, we take a huge leap into the metaphysics of combat, the elemental dance. We'll then climb to the very peak of individual skill with the zone of absolute defense. And finally, bring it all together, uniting heart and mind in the ultimate synthesis. Let's get started.
Okay, first things first, we need to get our heads straight, and Master Ayumi said it best. Even the perfect shield has a weakness, its wielder. This cuts right to the heart of everything we're going to talk about. True defense isn't some static object you hold. It's a dynamic, evolving state of being. And this is the first, and honestly the most critical mental shift you have to make. Your shield is not your defense. You are.
So, let's talk about the problem. Why do we even need to go this far? While the rest of the continent is celebrating a victory, the true masters see what's really coming. They're facing Eros, Asakel, Raichu, and Siren, the four great malevolent storms. Now don't think of them as just generals. Think of them as forces of nature, whose powers literally feed off each other. Against a threat on that scale, a simple shield isn't just ineffective, it's completely irrelevant. So how in the world do you even begin to build a defense against something that seems impossible? Well, you start with what you can actually control, your own body and the space you occupy. This is the physical foundation. It all starts with raw speed, sure, but to be truly effective, it has to evolve into something much, much more. And this is the first major breakthrough, something developed by the warrior Hosek. The Killer Ghost Frenzy isn't just about being fast. He literally created physically interactive after-images of himself to train against himself exponentially. I mean, can you imagine sparring with 6 other versions of you, each one knowing your every weakness, each one adapting in real time? This isn't just training. It's a psychological pressure cooker where you are forced to overcome your own limitations again and again.
And this right here shows you the huge leap from just moving fast to achieving what's called real multiplicity. This isn't some illusion, some trick of the light. We're talking about one mind making 7 independent judgments in parallel. It's like a CPU running 7 combat programs all at once. This is really the first step beyond the physical limits of a single body.
But you know, no technique is ever perfect. His rival, Bjorn, was quick to point out 3 critical flaws. First, the experience gap. Yeah, fighting yourself is great, but it doesn't prepare you for the sheer chaos of a real, unpredictable opponent. Second, it's still counterable. All those afterimages still have to converge at the point of impact. And third, it relies only on sight. And any seasoned master will tell you, they don't just see, they sense your intent, they feel the air currents, the flow of your life energy, your Joki.
So, what does Hosek do? He evolves. To counter these flaws, he completely shifts his philosophy. He develops the labyrinth of the defender. Instead of trying to overwhelm one opponent with speed, he starts to control the entire battlefield. This isn't just a wall of shields, you guys. It's a dynamic, shifting maze that dictates where the enemy can go and turns their own momentum into a trap. His defense has now become an offensive weapon.
Okay, mastering the physical realm is one thing, but what happens when the attack isn't a fist or a sword, but a bolt of lightning? What do you do when you're facing pure elemental force? To answer that, we have to take the metaphysical leap. This is the fundamental question. This is what separates the masters from the merely skilled. When an attack has no physical form, when it's just pure, raw energy, how do you stop it? You can't just put up a shield and hope for the best. The answer requires you to completely rethink what defense even means. And luckily for us, Master Fencer provides the framework. See, defense is a process, a ladder of escalating mastery. You start with the basics, evasion and observation. You learn to counterattack, to exercise caution. You master blocking, and then foresight. But that 7th and final step, neutralization, that is the true game changer. That's the highest form of defensive combat there is. And this is the secret to neutralization. You stop trying to brute force a block. That's old thinking. Instead, you deal with the attack's fundamental energy. By attuning yourself to the exact wavelength of, say, an incoming firestorm, you don't just stop it, you cancel it out completely. It's basically like noise-canceling headphones from Magical Annihilation. Okay, now for the fun part. What happens when you take that crazy killer ghost frenzy and you smash it together with elemental neutralization? You get the elemental rainbow dance. Just picture it. You're facing 4 opponents, each one wielding a different element. Your mind has to process 4 different attack rhythms, anticipate 4 different timings, and switch your own elemental affinity 4 times in the split second before each impact. It's a symphony of defensive mastery that creates a literal rainbow of neutralized energy. All right, we've mastered the body, we've danced with the elements. Now we reach the true apex of individual skill. At this level, the battle moves beyond the physical entirely. It becomes a clash of wills, a game of predicting your opponent's very soul.
Now here's a really profound insight, something that goes way beyond the battlefield. An elemental affinity isn't just a superpower, it's a personality profile. Fire users, they're temperamental. Water users are kind. And lightning users, well, they're unpredictable. If you can understand the element, you can understand the person wielding it. And that knowledge is the key to true foresight, predicting what your opponent will do before they even think it themselves.
And once you have that deep understanding, you can unlock techniques like Master Luna's ultimate creation, the Zone of Absolute Defense. It's just an elegant 2-phase trap. Phase 1, she releases her Joki to ionize the air, creating a field that stuns anyone who enters. That nullifies all close-range attacks. Then, Phase 2, she creates pathways within that field that match her opponent's wavelength. What does that do? It causes their own long-range attacks to just harmlessly bend away from her. They can't get close, and they can't hit her from afar.
But here's the catch, and this is so important. As Master Luna herself explains, absolute does not mean impenetrable. It means being so acutely aware of your own flaws and limitations that you can adapt on the fly. An absolute defense isn't a static wall. It's a dynamic, learning, self-correcting system. It is the absolute pinnacle of a growth mindset applied to combat.
And that brings us to our final section, the ultimate synthesis. So how do we combine the Labyrinth's battlefield control, the Rainbow Dance's elemental mastery, and the Zone's psychological warfare into a single, unified strategy? Let's see how it's done. You'd think the plan to take down a general as impossibly unpredictable as Raichu would start in some grand war room with complex schematics, right? Nope. It began with this, a simple, almost comical sketch. It's a wonderful reminder that the most brilliant strategies often have the humblest of origins. Because this doodle, this simple sketch, represents a concept of sheer genius, the mutating several-layered zone of absolute defense. Let's just break it down. It takes the layered structure right from the Labyrinth of the Defender. It adds the elemental control from the Zone of Absolute Defense. And then, and this is the best part, it uses Hozek's afterimages from the Killer Ghost Frenzy, placing one in each and every layer. So when Raichu attacks, lightning rods channel his strike into one specific layer, where an afterimage instantly senses its wavelength and adjusts the ionized air to neutralize it. It's a reactive, living fortress. But you know what? Even the most perfect fortress can fall if the will of its defenders is broken. And that brings us to the final, crucial component, spirit. The duty of the Phoenix's spirit is to be the ultimate shield for the team's morale. It's about countering the enemy's psychological warfare, because a true battle isn't just a clash of techniques, it is a clash of spirits.
And so, that's where we're left. We've journeyed from a simple piece of metal to a multi-layered psychic fortress. But maybe true absolute defense isn't about a wall that can't be broken. Maybe it's the perfect, unbreakable synergy of a skilled body, a strategic mind, and an unwavering spirit, all working in unison. That just might be the only defense that is truly absolute. Class dismissed.